This what I tell them. Look.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with a topic section of the Success Chronicles today. And so today we're going to talk communication. And this is Kathy Marcino. She helps clients and people communicate more effectively and understand how their customers need to be communicated with. And so, you know, if you're looking for someone to help with communication, she's your girl.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so thank you so much for taking the time to, you know, spend time. And I've interviewed her with the group that she's with, 4-6 Chatting. And we had a really good time. And so we decided to do a topic, and we're going to hit communication today. So what's your thoughts on communication?
Well, everybody communicates, right?
Right.
Probably too much. You probably could think of at least a dozen people off the top of your head that just love to hear themselves talk, right?
Yeah.
But are you communicating effectively? And what I mean by that is, are the people that you're speaking to understanding your message? Does it resonate with them in the way that you want it to? And each of us is hardwired a little bit differently. And so what that means is we hear a little bit differently. So for example, if you give the same direction to 3 different people on your team, you're the coach, you've got a team here, you've given it 3 guys right in front of you, they're going to hear that same direction 3 different ways. And you may stop and think and say, how does that happen? Why is this one in this direction, this one in that direction, when I said the same thing to all 3 of them? Because they heard you differently based on their personality style. And that's what I do. I help people identify their natural style. And when they know that about themselves, it allows them to see how they communicate, how they like to be communicated with.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how does that in turn, then if they're in a sales career, how does that affect their selling style? If they're in a management position, how does that affect their leadership style? How do they lead? And more importantly, how does their team need to be led?
I think
So
that,
that's right.
okay, that kind of hits on, when you said that, it made me think about how there's different learning styles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I was young in my profession, that was a big deal. You know, in education, to, you know, find ways to hit all the learning styles so that all your kids benefit from your instruction. Mm-hmm. And so I totally agree with you saying that we all, you know, learn, listen different, you know, because we're all hardwired different. And so I think that's why it's so important to be aware of the way you communicate.
Yes.
And how you communicate to people, because your nonverbal is just as strong as your verbal, or stronger.
That's a great point. My nonverbal dog is communicating now, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. But
I was gonna say, what's up, dog? What's up, dog?
He knows mommy's in here, and he loves me. He says, "Mommy's on TV. I want to be on TV. Let's do it."
That's it.
There's a good point about nonverbal communication. There are so many, you know, the whole body language thing.
Right.
That's taken a back seat because we're doing so many things now without seeing another person. Mm-hmm. So when you're texting another person, or it's just 100% online, how many things can get misconstrued? How many messages can get lost in translation because you're missing the whole body language piece?
Yeah, so, and that's big. Email, text messages. And that's what, you have to put light tone, or, tell a person like, hey, this is the tone I'm talking to. No cap, all of those different things.
And if you don't know that person, if you don't know that person's style, they're either going to be really mad at you,
Yeah.
or you're going to be dismissed or something. I mean, I have a teenager and she doesn't even talk to her friends on the phone anymore. I mean, it's just nobody communicates in person. So, but I think that when I work with teams, say in a business environment, so they're going to bring me in because either they're ready to expand their team, or they're ready to build a team, or they're bringing somebody new in. They need to know how they need to know how they communicate themselves, but they also need to know how each other prefers to be communicated with. So what I mean by that is there are some folks that you can say, hey, go and do something, and it's done. There are other people that it won't be considered done unless you get an email from that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do they want to be communicated with? So if you're working on a project together and you've got 4 people that don't like to take notes, where's that project going to go? So you need to know, okay, you know what, this is our person that's going to take the notes. They're going to make sure that we dot every I and cross every T and make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. Somebody's going to take a leadership role, right? That's their style. Someone's going to be the cheerleader on the sidelines. That's their style. But you see that in a person. The person that's going to be taking the notes, their body language is going to be like this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They don't care. If other people don't know that about that person, they're going to automatically say they're not interested. They don't care. They lack emotional intelligence. They don't have any empathy. But that's not what's happening. They're processing. And so it takes them a little bit longer for those wheels to churn because they need to go through all the facts. That's body language.
Mm.
The person that's very expressive and all excited, that's the person that is going to be probably coordinating each of the tasks on the team because they like the interaction piece. That's and that's body language again. So it's all about that personal space. Are you in somebody's personal space? You need to step back. Do you need to quicken up your pace? Do you need to slow it down? All of those things make a more cohesive and more successful team.
Yeah. I totally agree. What's something that, just in general, just speaking, not just team, but just in general, because, we talked off air about, it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone needs communication skills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's spouse, whether it's family, whether it's job, whatever it is, I don't care who you are, you need communication skills. And so what's something in general that when communicating with someone that someone would need to be aware of?
I think that if you don't know a person, I think I'm going to go back to the body language a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're meeting someone for the first time, whatever interaction it is, whether it's at the grocery store, whether you can kind of tell whether that person is approachable or not. And I think, again, it goes back to that self-awareness piece too. The more you know about how I communicate, I know I can get in somebody's face sometime. I know I'm that person. So I know I can't approach everyone like that.
Yeah.
So I think the short answer to that question is, I think knowing how you communicate first. I think it's more important that you know how you prefer to be communicated with and how you communicate. I think that's probably the number one place to start.
Self-awareness,
Exactly.
the golden rule.
Yep.
If you will.
Yep.
That's something, you learn, we learned elementary school.
Sure.
I can remember seeing that, treat others as you want to be treated.
And you want to communicate, take that a step further. You want to communicate with people in the way that you want to be communicated with and that they want to be communicated with.
I like it. I like it. It's good stuff. Well, Well, thanks so much for talking a topic with us, communication. Any last points or tips that will be good for our listeners and viewers about communication that you have?
I guess I just want to emphasize again that everyone will look and say, oh, communication, I know what I'm doing. I'm a great writer. I'm a great speaker. Listen to me. But stop and think of the people that are listening to you. And are they hearing your message when you communicate? Because people are going to hear you different ways. So keep in mind, as you're speaking to different people out there that need to hear little nuggets in a different way. So it's not just one size fits all. Here's my speech. Here's my advice. Here's my direction. Go and run with it. It's not that easy. It's not a one size fits all model when it comes to communication.
You just have to have self-awareness.
There you go. Hashtag self-awareness.
Hashtag self-awareness. Hashtag she's your girl if you need communication help.
Right here.
So actually, let's tell the viewers and listeners where they can find you, like your social media, if they want to look you up.
Okay. All that good stuff. My website is kmmdisc, DISC consulting.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at KMMDisc. And you can also find me on YouTube, where I have a nifty little series, a couple of videos where I've drawn out some real life examples about what communication style has to do with it. So you can check those out. So thank you.
All right, well, go check her out, give her some support, and thanks again for taking the time to talk a topic with the Success Chronicle.
Always, Mr. Baker. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.